Hi, Steve Porter here, and last week for Independence Day I did a Facebook Live reading of the Declaration of Independence. I encourage people to actually reflect on the Declaration of Independence and some of the similarities that exist between 1776, what the founders were experiencing, and our situation today in 2017. Over the next few weeks, I'd like to do a few short video presentations of my thoughts on these issues, starting with taxation. Governments do need funds to operate. We may not like paying taxes, but to the degree that we actually need government services, taxation is part of life. The founders understood this. They weren't universally opposed to taxation, but rather they were concerned about three major issues. First of all, they were concerned that they had taxation without representation. Secondly, they didn't really see that the tax funds that they were paying were coming back to benefit the colonies, their communities. And finally, they had some fundamental issues with how the tax funds were being used. In their case, there were many military and imperialistic designs of a tyrannical king and a foreign government that their funds were going for, and they didn't like that. So how does that compare with today's situation? Well, first of all, in theory at least, we have representation for taxation. With the exception of the people in the District of Columbia, we have senators, we have representatives in Congress that are supposed to represent us in taxation decisions. Question is, do they? When I reflect on tax policy today and try to wrap my head around the various tax proposals and those type of things, more often than not, what I'm seeing is proposals that go to benefit large corporations or other special interests of a two-party system. They're not really proposals that are going to help me as a middle-class American, and frankly, I don't think they're going to help most of you. So, yes, we have taxation, yes, we have representation. Not sure the two are actually joined together that well. The second point was, are the funds actually coming back to benefit our communities, our families, us? We gather somewhere in the neighborhood of $4 trillion a year in taxes. And even with all that money, we're still running a deficit of over $500 billion per year, which is just really scary in and of itself. But the question is, of those tax funds that we collect, do they come back to help us and our communities? And to some degree they do. I mean, we benefit from things like national defense and stuff like that. So there is some benefit. The question is, does that benefit match up in scale to what we contribute? In other words, are we getting a good return on our tax dollar investment? And I really don't think we are. The final area is basically, what are the taxes going to? Taxation, as I mentioned before, is necessary. We have to have taxes to run a government. But taxation is only valid up to the point that it funds those legitimate, constitutionally ordained functions of government. Over the decades, our two-party political system has grossly distorted the role of government. Today, government overreach exists in commerce, education, healthcare, and many other areas, to the point that the government is trying to fund this huge monster that really is far beyond what the founders envisioned. Then you combine that with our military stances right now, where we're deploying troops for long-term deployments in foreign lands, in many cases in ways that do not directly support the national defense. All of that adds up to a much, much bigger tax burden than our citizens should be subject to. So, I hope you found this brief reflection on taxation, Declaration of Independence, and the situation today useful. If you did, please share it with your friends and contacts. Comment on it, whether that's on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, wherever. And most importantly, reach out to liberty-minded campaigns and candidates like me today and offer your support, whether that be helping to staff events, offering funds, offering to host fundraisers, or simply helping us get our word out to the citizens. Together we can make a difference. We can bring government back under control. We can bring taxation to reasonable levels. But that only is going to happen if we work together. Thank you. My name is Steve Porter, a candidate for United States House of Representatives, and I approve this message. Paid for by the Stephen Porter for Congress Committee. Contributions are not tax deductible for federal income tax purposes.